I was in Joker 2, which just came out. It's the worst film that has ever been made.
So bad.
It's the worst film it's actually not so bad. It's the worst film ever made.
Is it possible that he didn't want to make a sequel? And then he said,
no,
all right,
I know
I'll make a
Tarantino
sequel.
said that. I mean, it's a quarter billion they did that with. I know that he was raised in a cult when he was a little kid and his name was Leaf. The guy's brilliant, but the movie was just, I mean, God, was it rough. If you were a fan of the first one, the second one was like, kind of, I think, insane to a fan of the first one. It would be like if Godfather 2 was about, like, the Corleone family going legit. You know what I mean?
Right. No
like,
more
and apologizing for the mafia.
Right.
You're like, they were like, hey, I'm sorry we did all this shit.
Yeah.
We now have a bakery. It went completely the other way.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see it, but I heard it sucked.
Joker 2 flopped into theaters this summer, stunning audiences worldwide with its disjointed motifs, garish musical numbers, and brutally dissatisfying finale. But not everyone has been as down on the film as we nerds here on the internet. Welcome guys back to Burnt Popcorn. I'm your host Dr. Til for the day, and we are going to be talking about Tim Dillon versus Tarantino on Joker 2.
Showtime. The whole world smiles with you.
Now, most people despise Joker 2 for its mistreatment of the character and an overall perceived disdain for the very audience that forked over the hard-earned cash to see the film. And being as it was released on the heels of a worldwide fan favorite like Deadpool and Wolverine, well, that seemed to pour salt into the wound even more for the moviegoers, making Joker 2 one of the biggest flops of the year. The first film stunned and captivated audiences, raking in a worldwide $1 billion. One of DC's highest grossing films ever. However, the moment Todd Phillips announced that the follow-up would be a musical, and that Joaquin Phoenix's new co-star would be Lady Gaga, the fan base became a bit skeptical. Once they saw the movie, well, the mood did not improve.
Arguably the worst film ever on a screen, where people are walking out of this film. I saw it in Laguna Beach. I was in California with COVID, and I went to go see it. And that's how you should see it, if you can see it with COVID. And I was watching it, and people were walking out of the theater confused, befuddled, angry. Why? Why did you do this?
Most actors will smile, grit their teeth, and nod their way out of saying anything awful or negative about a future or past co-star or director or writer, someone who could potentially hurt their career. Because in Hollywood, the only way forward is to blow smoke up the ass in front of you.
You know, these films wouldn't be any good unless all of us were driving for perfection. So,
But most actors are not LA comedian Tim Dillon, whose signature style is a bit of an over-the-top, dry and crass humor. And since the film's release and subsequent flop, Dillon has taken every opportunity to twist the knife a little more for Warner Brothers, even going so far as to remark on Lady Gaga's acting ability and whether or not she has had too many needles in her face.
But Gaga's irrelevant. The woman is irrelevant, and I think she's very talented in the music end of the thing. That's her game. She's irrelevant now. Okay? Star is Born, we get it. When was that? Long time ago.
Yeah.
Right?
At least 10 years, yeah.
So they got her in this, ruining it. They got Joaquin, who's doing, he's a brilliant actor, but he's, they got him trying to be Fred Astaire. It's a big mistake. And on set, I would turn to my friend Jimmy, who was one of the guards, and I'd go, what is happening? And he'd go, this is not going to be good. And we'd have great lunches every day, because here's how bad this film is. I cannot show this to anyone ever. I can never say I was in a movie and then show it to someone. That's how bad it is. If I said I was in a movie and I showed this to someone years from now, they would go, are you pranking me when I put this on? And you heard Lady Gaga be like, I'm the Joker. There's always a Joker in the pack. There's always a Joker. It's like, what the fuck is going on? I said immediately, fire Lady Gaga. Fire her. Fire her right now. You're paying her a lot of money, and what I'm seeing ain't working. Get her out of here. Get her out of here. I said that at the pasta truck a lot of times. Get her out of here, I would say. Get her out of here. The red sauce. Get her out of here. She's not working. Get her out. Cut her mic. I would yell. They wouldn't hear me. I'd say it. I'd say, cut her mic.
He's clearly being funny here. Tim Dillon is known for his over-the-top, biting, and raunchy takes on things, all the way from politics to entertainment. So how much of this is real and how much is comedic exaggeration is for the viewer to decide. Sometimes the truth can be funnier than fiction, though. Now, perhaps Tim is just parroting what a lot of people online have been saying. Perhaps he's parroting people in his own fan base. Or maybe these are his actual thoughts. Maybe he thinks it's just funnier for him to say the most uncouth thing in the entertainment industry and see the reactions of everyone involved.
Welcome to Anniewood.
Hi guys, welcome to Anniewood episode 101. We're here, this is a high information episode. We got Netflix's The Joker's, Tim Dillon, everybody.
Let me tell you how bad Joker 2 is.
I'm pissed I didn't see it.
Let me tell you how bad
Tell
it
us.
is, okay? It is being called, credibly, potentially the worst film ever made.
Wow. Now there's a lot of song
I want to
and
thank
dance.
CAA. I want to thank my agents. I couldn't have done this without you, Justin, Jacob, JB, Rachel, Steve, the whole crew. Thank you.
Either way, Tim has been more than happy to tell every podcast friend he has these hot takes on every show he possibly can, including his own. Whether jokes, truth, or a mixture of the two, Tim has been saying what so many people have been saying and thinking and shouting very loudly on Twitter and YouTube. Many people feel betrayed by the direction that Joker 2 took from its predecessor. And to some, perhaps Tim has become a voice for those that don't really have a loud voice to shout their grievances at Warner Brothers, whether he's meaning to or not.
Let's not go to the movies anymore.
I was in Joker 2, which just came out. It's the worst film
I
that
heard
has
it
ever
was
been made.
so bad.
It's the worst film it's actually not so bad. It's the worst film ever made.
Why?
Well,
Do you think they did it on purpose?
No. I think what happened after the first Joker was there was a lot of talk ooh, this was loved by incels. This was loved by the wrong kinds of people, and this sent the wrong kinds of male rage, nihilism, all these think pieces.
Right.
And then I think, what if we went the other way, and now they have Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga tap dancing to a point where it's insane.
However, not everyone agrees with the internet's consensus on Todd Phillips' controversial follow-up film. Recently, Quentin Tarantino and his longtime producing partner, Roger Avery, sat down with American Psycho author Bret Easton Ellis on his podcast to discuss the latest in Hollywood happenings. And among the subjects that came up was that of Joker 2. And well, Tarantino had a slightly different take.
I liked the movie.
No, I'm not.
And yeah, I am
I'm
taking it
still.
seriously.
No, it's a yeah.
Because of what it says. It's saying a fucking lot, and it's
But also-
dumping
okay.
that into our culture.
Yes, but another way you could say it that is maybe a little funner is that Todd Phillips is the Joker. The Joker directed the movie. The entire concept even him spending the studio's money, he's spending it like the Joker would spend it, all right? And then his big surprise gift, the Jack in the Box, that when he offers you his hand for a handshake and you get a buzzer with 10,000 volts shooting you, is the comic book geeks. He's telling fuck you to all of them. He's saying fuck you to the movie audience. He's saying fuck you to Hollywood. He's saying fuck you to everybody who owns any stock at DC and Warner Brothers. This is under the Clive Barker rules of subversion at a massive level. Joker 2 applies under that category, under every shape and form. And Todd Phillips is the Joker. Un film du Joker, all right, is what it is. He is the Joker. And
Tarantino thinks Joker 2 was a bold film, attempting something new and exciting? And for someone as evergreen and well-liked as Tarantino, it took a lot of people by surprise.
I think he gives one of the best performances I've ever seen in my life in this movie.
You know who I love in this movie is Brendan Gleeson.
I
think he's more than a caricature. And actually,
no, I didn't say he's a caricature.
But I mean,
but how can you even mention? I just made a giant declarative statement. Don't just bring up Brendan Gleeson, all right? Playing Ernest Borgnine.
I think you're correct. I think you're correct. I think you're absolutely correct in your statement. But
now, while even if you don't like the film, it could be said this film is indeed bold. And it could even be argued it was trying something new with a long-beloved DC Comics villain. The general consensus on the film, however, remains, it fucking sucked. And Tarantino has never been one to be swayed much by public opinion. Some might say he's a bit of a stubborn asshole, and he might agree. And in a lot of regards, it's probably why we like him so much. But in this case, the Pulp Fiction director finds himself at odds with general audiences, leading to what might have otherwise been an unremarkable opinion being blown up as a headline clickbait for the industry rags and internet clickbait farms. Which in turn led to everyone hearing that Tarantino loved Joker 2, and that Todd Phillips made it explicitly as a giant fuck you to everyone who loved or profited off the original.
Tarantino's going around in interviews being like, I love Joker 2. That's Todd Phillips telling everyone that they suck and Warner Brothers sucks and DC sucks. And I'm like, I don't think Todd Phillips wants another director going around saying that he botched the movie on purpose. What the fuck are you doing, Quentin?
This news even reached the likes of Joe Rogan and Tim Dillon, and came up when they sat down recently on the Joe Rogan Experience. Now, you may have missed this episode because, well, it came on the heels of quite possibly the biggest podcast to ever have happened ever in all time.
Is it possible that he didn't want to make a sequel? And then he said,
no,
all right,
I know
I'll make a
Tarantino
sequel.
said that. I mean, it's a quarter billion they did that with. If that's true, it's the most immoral thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't think it's really a protest.
Wouldn't it be fun, though?
I don't know. It's a wasted everybody's time. Just make a good movie.
What do you think? What would motivate them to make a movie that's that far
Because
the
they
other
want
way?
it, because it's hubris, number one.
Do you think you would like it if it wasn't connected to the original Joker?
No,
if you weren't
it has no
expecting
plot. It has no plot.
I feel like in this podcast, unlike his appearance on Bad Friends, Tim lets his comedian facade slip a little and lets the listener in on a more honest take on the film. Now, Tim Dillon isn't the only one who disagreed with Tarantino's cinematic punk rock perspective.
I feel while listening to you guys that I am such a normie, that I'm with the overwhelming audience reaction to it. I found it excruciating, the most unpleasant movie I've seen in years.
I expected to feel like you.
And I felt like all these ideas you're talking about are there, that's true, but they kept imploding one after the other by the way they were approached. I've never really, I can't remember a time that I've reacted. I was so repelled by a film, and it was such a missed opportunity in so many ways. I don't think he has any feel at all for musical numbers or for directing a musical. I thought every single one of those numbers completely fell flat when they should have exploded. But I guess if we're following the ideas of what Todd Phillips wants to do and be the Joker, and we're the brunt of the joke in a way, the audience is, Oh, that's a really lofty, great idea. But when you put it into practice, I just found the movie like, what is going on?
Well, that's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought I was going to see, what I was been prepared to see.
So it seems like Tim isn't the only one who thought Joker 2 sucked. But Tim, while only having a small part in the film, can offer a bit of a unique insight into what actually went on behind the scenes of Joker 2. Now, how much of that insight is factual, how much is comedic exaggeration, again, that's up for y'all to decide. I can't be the one to judge that for you. I can only have my opinion. I'd say take what Tim says with a grain of salt. But maybe if we read in between the lines a little, we can see the truth of the matter a little more clear. Did Todd Phillips purposely tank a $200 million movie to send a defiant middle finger to the studio, fans, and heads of DC? Or did some artsy-fartsy theater kids get in over their heads with one of Hollywood's most valuable characters? Personally, I think it's a mixture of the two. I think Todd Phillips is a bit of an artsy-fartsy filmmaker that bit off more than he can chew, trying to stay 2 steps ahead of an audience that's getting even more cinematically savvy with each year that passes. And well, all it did was wind him up on stage with his pants around his ankles and his cheeks flapping in the wind. But who knows? Tell me what you think down in the comments below. Is Tarantino right? Is Joker 2 a defiant masterpiece? Or is Tim Dillon just trying to cover up the truth behind one of the biggest flops of the year? A little bit of roast humor and crass delivery. I'll let you be the judge. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you next time for another one.
You're sitting there and there's these people, you know, in the theater, and they're all confused, and I'm watching their reactions, and they're all like staring and everything, and like it starts like, oh, it's raining and it's Arkham Asylum, and you're like, okay, cool. And then there's a moment where Joaquin Phoenix just goes, for once in my life, I have someone who needs me, and they just, and he starts,
breaks into a musical?
He just becomes a fucking musical.
I know your scene, it has, Joaquin was in the scene, right?
He was in the scene.
Right, so what was that like?
I didn't learn the lines. Because they always lie. The agent lies, and they go, they want you to be you and be funny, and they lie.
Right.
They don't want that. Andrew's a great actor, and he does like the work of it.
Yeah.
I showed up, and I was like, you know, you didn't get the script ahead of time because they didn't want you to leak it.
Oh, I hate when they do that.
They give you lines in the morning, and I like read them real quick, and I guess I should have drilled them a little more, but they kept changing them. And, you know, I was a bit nervous, and it's Joaquin. I've never done a scene in any movie in my life before. This is the first scene in any movie I've ever done in my whole entire life.
It's with Joaquin Phoenix.
With Joaquin Phoenix and Brendan Gleeson.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Genius. I'm nervous in my trailer. I called my agent. I don't even think I should be in this.
Yeah.
He goes, no.
I love this.
It's all fine. It's good.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm out of my element. This is not what I do.
Yeah.
But like as I'm doing the lines, like you know, I have to look, like the director would come up to me and goes, listen, here's the scene. You say your first line. After you say your first line, you move your book, you put your hands on the book.
Yeah.
Don't block the title of the book.
Yeah.
Don't block the cover.
Yeah.
Move it 70% across the desk. 80%, it's out of frame. Do you get that?
Yeah,
and I go, yes. I don't know what, and he would say this to me. He'd go, what the fuck is the problem here? Because he was being very like, and I get it, I respect him. He's a great director. And I like being yelled at, and it was deserved.
Yeah.
But Joaquin was like, he's doing fine. Like Joaquin would turn around to the director and go, he's okay. And I'm like, man. And then they would go action, and I would go, I would fuck it up every which way.
Yeah.
One time I was so nervous, I didn't even say the line.
Yeah.
I just moved the book. I just moved the book and looked away.
It's gonna be worth a fortune.